How's it going, everybody? It's me, your boy, Joe Biden here. Welcome back to another, apparently, Bedrock Beta 1.16 showcase. Yup, that's right. You heard me right. Bedrock Beta 1.16.210.56 beta. It's been out for a few days, and I'm finally getting around to taking a look at it. In today's video, we're going to check out the first big Bedrock Beta in a while. Sort of like what we do with the snapshots. This Bedrock Beta has some pretty cool cave update features in it. If you enjoyed the video, annihilate like button, please. Thank you. And subscribe. Alright, so I want to make one thing clear really quick. I said it's a 1.16 beta, that's just because of the name. This is for Minecraft 1.17 Bedrock update. It's probably not 1.16, just so you know. So Bedrock Beta 1.16.210.56, that's what we're checking out today. What's in this beta? Well, in this beta, we finally have two brand new cave update features over on the Bedrock edition of the game. First things first, we have pointed dripstone. Second things second, the SCULK sensor. Finally, the SCULK sensor. We will start with the pointed dripstone though. This stuff right here, look at how good it looks. I've gotta say, honestly, you know, as a Java edition player, I'm kind of jealous of this pointed dripstone. Check that out. When you place it down, you get that shadow right there. That looks good. That looks really, really nice on that block. I feel like the shading around this thing makes it fit into the world a little bit better. But anyways, pointed dripstone. It's just like the Java edition pointed dripstone if you've been following the Java snapshots. You can put it on the floor, you can put it on the ceiling. When you place it down, it's going to be tiny, just like that. If you place another pointed dripstone on top of it, you'll get more, and then more, and then more, and then more, and you can actually keep doing this as tall as you'd like. So the height, it can be tall. Also, just like on Java, pointed dripstone can hang from the bottom of a block, and same deal with the height, it can hang as low as you'd like it to. So right there, that's a pretty tall piece of pointed dripstone, and then a pretty hangy one too. Now also, just like on Java Edition, we have the tip right here, we have a block right there, we place that, they connect just like that. If we crouch and place it, it is unfortunately, unlike Java Edition, not going to separate. I'm crouched right now, and it's not going to stay separate. Hopefully that option makes it into the game a little bit later on. Now check this out, break that. It jumps over for some reason, which is really weird, but then it does fall and breaks into a bunch of pieces on the ground. If I were to break this one right here, it's going to break just like bamboo, and then all of the pieces will fall down to the ground. This breaking ratio seems to be a 1-to-1 ratio, meaning if you break one piece of pointed dripstone, you'll get one. If you were to break two pieces of pointed dripstone, then you would get two pieces of pointed dripstone. Now, interestingly, I honestly hope this one has changed later on, but interestingly, in survival, if you break it with your hand, you will actually get the block, and it breaks pretty quickly, as you just saw there. Hopefully, later on, that's changed, because this is meant to be like stone. Even if it is a weaker stone, why can Steve break that quick? I mean, statistically, the player is an absolute tank, but that's a little bit too tanky. Well, I found a bug. The gold pickaxe is stuck with me forever, so that's wonderful. Can't take it out of the inventory. I have no clue why. That's great. That's wonderful. Love it. Never mind, I can drop it on the ground. Alright, so this is actually kind of perfect. Check this out. If we had a wandering trader, say, right in there, and then I were to break this block right here, pointed dripstone, when it falls, it actually damages whatever it lands on. Same deal. If the pointed dripstone is on the ground, and this time we have something fall on it, so there we go, it takes damage. That's pretty cool. It only takes a little bit of damage, though, unfortunately. This whole damage thing is even going to work with a single piece of pointed dripstone. Check that out. One piece of pointed dripstone, and they're gone. That feels good. Now, interestingly, I do think that the height actually affects how much damage these things are going to take. So we're all the way up here now, way higher than before. That drops, and look at that. One hit, and they're all gone. That's pretty cool. I definitely like that small little detail there. So far, Bedrock pointed dripstone, it's the same as Java pointed dripstone, but now two pieces of bad news. So right now, pointed dripstone cannot be crafted into the block of dripstone, because the dripstone block isn't in the Bedrock beta quite yet. So that recipe doesn't work. And the whole really cool cauldron filling up thing, that doesn't seem to work quite yet either. This pointed dripstone has been hanging here for a long time. And usually on Java Edition, water would drip out of here and fill this cauldron, or if I had lava above it, lava would do that. But yep, it doesn't seem to work like that. So right now, those two features aren't in the game, but at least pointed dripstone is. If you want to check this stuff out, it is only in the creative inventory. It doesn't generate anywhere quite yet. Oh boy, now we talk about the big one. This is the one that I'm definitely way more excited about. It's really cool. So the SCULK sensor is a redstone component. If you haven't heard yet, the SCULK sensor is, well, like the name says, a sensor. It senses vibrations or movements around it. So check this out. I jumped right there. It sensed that movement. Maybe if I were to move a little bit closer, though, the signal would actually reach those other things because those lines are longer. And look at it. It can trigger redstone components. We have fireworks launching just because I'm moving around over here. The door is opening, like an automatic door. You walk up to your base and it opens. That would be sweet. Or maybe this light that moves up. I don't know what it's for, but it's definitely cool. Now, SCULK sensors detect vibrations. Vibrations are movements. Not every single movement in the game, though, is a detectable vibration. It's kind of strange. So, for example, check this out. When I jump, like initially, it's not going to see anything. The SCULK sensors will, however, detect something when I land. So, I move, nothing. I land, it detects it. So yeah, every single movement isn't necessarily detectable. If I walk, the SCULK sensors will definitely sense that. They will see that for sure. Check this out too. It's a floor of SCULK sensors. Look at that, the signal moves out in like a circular pattern. That looks really, really cool. Another movement that isn't detected, turning. Turning is fine. You can turn as much as you want, but as soon as you start to move, even if it's a tiny bit, the SCULK sensors will see it. Let's say you didn't want to be detected, though. How do you do that? Easy. Crouch. If you crouch and move around, you're too quiet for the SCULK sensors. They won't see you. The ones back there are detecting the drowned. All of these other ones don't see me, but then uncrouch, and they caught me. So yeah, when a SCULK sensor detects a vibration, it emits a redstone signal. There is a little bit of a delay in between this detection. See, I'm jumping and it's not just staying on, it's going to power and then unpower after a little bit, and then it can detect again. The interesting thing is this whole wait period is basically while the SCULK sensor is on Bedrock Edition. It feels a little bit different than Java. See, if I'm moving right here, it turns off, it can instantly detect me again. Okay, scratch that. Maybe. It seems to be pretty similar on Java Edition. When I move around really quickly, the SCULK sensor sees me, but maybe it's like a tiny bit slower on Java. Just a little bit, though. We'll call that pretty much the same thing, though. So you could set a SCULK sensor up with redstone lines coming right out of it, like I've done over here, and power contraptions that way. Or you could get a little bit more complex with things and have a SCULK sensor next to a comparator, and then a line of redstone. With a comparator next to a SCULK sensor, the comparator will basically be able to sort out what type of movement the sensor just detected. For example, check this out. If I walk next to the SCULK sensor, we have a signal strength of 1. If I jump and land, we have a signal strength of 5. Maybe I had this block and I placed it down. The signal strength is that much, and then if I were to break that block, the signal strength is now that much. Comparators can be used to filter the vibration type. So, if we want to talk exact numbers, movement is going to give us a signal of 1. Jumping, when you land, is going to give a signal strength of 5. Placing a block is a signal strength of 12. Crouching, like we found out earlier, is a signal strength of 0, always 0. And then finally, breaking a block is 13. What could you do with this? Well, honestly, so much. You could do so many different things with this. You could set up some sort of thing to detect when somebody places a block in your base, and then when the block is placed, the sensor goes off and maybe sets off a trap or opens up a door or something like that. Or maybe you have like a secret door in your base somewhere, and to activate the door, you place a block down somewhere. The SCULK sensor would see that, but nothing would happen. Then, after you break that block, the sensor realizes that you've broken the block, the trigger block, and then the door would open. That could be pretty cool. And not only would it be really cool, and thanks to the help of the comparator when paired up next to the SCULK sensor, it really wouldn't be that difficult at all. Now, a couple interesting things, a little bit of bad news about the SCULK sensor. Wool occlusion. So on Java Edition, in the current snapshot, you can actually place wool to cut off motion detection. So I'm moving around over here. If I were on Java Edition, the SCULK sensor wouldn't see me. Right now, that motion detection goes right through the wool block. You can see right through the solid block. Meanwhile, on Java Edition, if I had a grass block right here, the SCULK sensor would still see me. And yep, it can still see me over here. So wool occlusion, that feature, unfortunately, isn't in the Bedrock Edition beta quite yet. I'm sure it eventually will be, because without it, the SCULK sensors are going to be really, really tricky to use. Another strange thing that doesn't seem to work is trapdoor detection, actually. So that doesn't see it. And normally it would, and we'd get like a signal bouncing back and forth, so wireless redstone, but yeah, the SCULK sensors don't see any of the trapdoor movement. They see it when I break it, but yeah, even if this is over here, nothing is going to be seen, which is a huge bummer. I'm sure it's just all of the functionality not being in the beta quite yet, but yeah, that one is really weird because without this, wireless redstone is not going to be possible. It can't detect that. That's so weird. And I have tested this with other trapdoor types, and yeah, it still doesn't work. If I do the birch one, it doesn't work. If I were to place this acacia one down and open that, it just doesn't see it right now, which is really strange. So the SCULK sensor is finally over on Bedrock Edition, but in its current form, it's good, but it definitely is missing some pretty gigantic things and behaves a little bit differently. Hopefully, in future betas, it gets a little bit closer to the Java SCULK sensor, because right now, I feel like those sensors on Java Edition are actually in a really good spot. Like, they're pretty good. Bedrock Beta 1.16.210.56, that's done. That's it. Those are all of the features aside from bug fixes. Now, I figured we would wrap everything up today with a general overview of all of the cave update features in the current Bedrock Beta. So, cave update features, Bedrock Beta, this is what we're looking at now. We have the goat horn, powder snow bucket, and the black and now pointed dripstone and the SCULK sensor. Now, if you've been following the Java snapshots, the goat is one thing that Java Edition actually hasn't seen quite yet, and it's really, really cool. It has the cool goat horn drop. Hopefully, Java gets that soon, and also hopefully, maybe more hopefully, Bedrock gets more cave update features soon. But remember, the devs are working on it. They will come eventually when the time is right. If you enjoyed today's Bedrock Beta breakdown, and more importantly, if you would like to see me do more Bedrock Beta breakdowns, definitely drop a like on this video. I don't know how I feel about doing them. They're cool, and the features, if they're different, I definitely would do them, like the goat one, but if they're the same, like this one, do I do them in the future? I don't know. If this video gets more likes than normal, then I could keep doing them. If not, I'll just do the Java snapshots. Subscribe, it's cool. Today, big shout out to my patrons, Bruce F. and A. Johnson 6494. Thank you so much for the support. I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.